It's time for something new for JCTV4. Something cringeworthy. I'm Kyle Mountcastle. PragerU posted this video of Michael Nels that attempts to demystify what the alt-right is. But we'll see if it actually does that or does something else.
What is the alt-right? Everybody has an opinion about it, but nobody seems to know exactly what it is. So I took it upon myself to find out. I took a deep dive into alt-right culture. I read their books, listened to their podcasts, watched their videos, followed their blogs, and spoke personally to their leaders. Here's what I learned. First, they're really small, like your high school reunion small. That big national alt-right gathering in Charlottesville in August 2017, yeah, that attracted all of about 600 people. And that's on the high end of estimates. And that infamous torch rally on the evening of August 11th, there were maybe 100 tiki torch carriers. But however small it is, the alt-right does have a belief system, a worldview. It's right there in their name. The alt in alt-right means alternative. The alt-right is an alternative to American conservatism. So it's no surprise then that the alt-right has far more in common with the left, another alternative to conservatism, than it does with the traditional American right. Let me try to untangle this. Both the left and the alt-right are obsessed with race and identity politics, the belief that a person's value is linked to their racial heritage.
Oh my god, celebrating cultural heritage is evil? No, don't do that. Why is there a problem with cultural heritage unless it's done and violating the rights of others? And what does it have to do with condemning the alt-right? Let's continue.
So, in the alt-right's view, the moral ideals of the American founders, like all men are created equal, are naive and misguided. The man who coined the term alt-right is a white nationalist named Richard Spencer, who runs AlternativeRight.com, as well as the National Policy Institute, the self-described think tank of the alt-right. According to Spencer, the movement is dedicated to the heritage, identity, and future of people of European descent in the United States.
So Richard Spencer actually runs something that's considered an institute? I digress.
Jared Taylor, the editor of the white identity website American Renaissance, holds that any attempt to create a society in which race can be made not to matter will fail.
Under what substantiated evidence do you have for that? Or like this guy has for that? Why are we going to such an attempt to try and demystify the alt-right? I don't know yet. Let's find out.
Other alt-right leaders include Sam Francis, the late syndicated columnist and forefather of the movement, who famously called for a white racial consciousness. Theodore Beale, the blogger known as Vox Day, who in his manifesto, What is the Alt-Right, cites the white nationalist motto, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." And Paul Ramsey, a white nationalist who produced and starred in a video entitled, "Is it wrong not to feel sad about the Holocaust?" Another area of agreement between the alt-right and the left is that both ultimately reject God.
Okay, that's not entirely true. So lots of young Catholics vote for Democrats, according to this quote from here, Catholic Patterns of the American Left, which is published by Palgrave Studies with Macmillan. One quote for thought that I'll take from this article. In February 2016, a group of young Catholics launched a movement, the Traditionistas, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which officially advocates Christian socialism and is devoted to the ressourcement of Catholic social teaching, Marxist economic analysis, and their integration into a new kind of politics. So basically, the left is not a bunch of collectivist atheists.
The alt-right admires Christendom for uniting the European continent, but rejects Christianity for its offer of salvation to all people, irrespective of race. The movement's favorite philosopher, just like the Nazis of yesteryear, is Friedrich Nietzsche, who famously claimed God is dead. Spencer himself is an avowed atheist who, like leftists since Karl Marx, longs for a new ideology as robust and binding as Christianity to replace traditional religion. That brings us to the most glaring similarity between the alt-right and the left, their disdain for the individual.
Why is individualism just such a great value? And what's wrong with collectivist values to begin with? This sounds like an indirect appeal to American exceptionalism.
We're number one! We're number one! We're number one!
Furthermore, I don't know if the left necessarily totally disdains the individual, but let's continue.
The pioneer spirit, entrepreneurial drive, the acceptance of personal responsibility. These are uniquely American ideas, uniquely conservative ideas, but they mean little, if anything, to the alternatives to conservatism, the left and the alt-right. Put simply, the alt-right has three core beliefs: the promotion of white identity politics, the rejection of God, and the subordination.
While these are inherently bad things, the political left doesn't always reject these ideas. You can have these ideas, it's just that when you bring them in the context of unchecked capitalism, that often results in exploiting others for the sake of personal gain. Look at Harvey Weinstein or Israel Horovitz, for example. Two big success stories built on these three concepts that this guy is mentioning, but they ultimately destroyed the lives of young women in particular because of what they did.
The subordination of the individual to the collective. In other words, the alt-right has nothing in common with conservatism.
Again, why is this important? Is this American entrepreneurial drive thing, the thing that really makes the world go round? It could be argued that we do a lot of bad things to other countries because we think we're number one. I don't have to mention one, but I will mention one anyway, which would be Iraq.
Except, of course, that the left is much, much larger. I'm Michael Knowles, host of The Michael Knowles Show for Prager University.
I don't see why Michael is so happy with making these hasty and oversimplified claims with all these good-looking infographics to go with it. This whole video seems to depend way too much on these hip infographics to try and make a young conservative think it's totally right, which it's not. Even with the infographics aside, there's nothing really novel here that he's saying. Polarization is here and it's everywhere on social media. What I like to see, instead of these demystification attempts, I like to see ways to actually fix polarization. And this video is kind of polarized anyway, if you think about it, because it's trying to distance itself from the alt-right and try to place itself on traditional fiscal conservatism? I don't know. Is it like going back against neoconservatism, or is it neoconservatism without the alt-right influence? I don't know. So maybe we can create algorithms that don't result in filter bubbles? I know I'm not an expert in search engine optimization, but I can tell you filter bubbles don't help create good civic discourse. Enough of Michael and these infographics. I am going to stop here. At this point, I'm kind of frustrated that I don't see too much with this video other than we're trying to separate ourselves from the alt-right, which is good in a sense, but at the same time, making itself look special and exceptional sounds like this kind of American chauvinism in a way. Anyway, enough cringing for today. I'm Kyle Mountcastle signing off.